Grand finals. This one's going to be a best of 3, and we'll see the bands and stuff coming out. So go ahead and take it away, Cam, once we have people that actually connect to the game. There we go. Lucian ban automatically. That's definitely targeted at Dracolich0.
Yeah, I think he plays some Draven, though, if I remember correctly.
I think that's Tursak that...
Tursak does, too. I thought Draco did, but I could be wrong.
Draco plays a lot of AD carries.
It sounds like Draven. Trundle ban, that has to be targeted, right? Or because they want to pick a tanky top laner and they don't want
possibly
the counter pick to be available. And that brings on a Jax ban, which makes sense because if Trundle's gone, then Jax can have free reign over top lane pretty easily. He doesn't lose a lot of matchups. Master Yi finally banned out. It took until the finals for it to happen, but it's been done. And the Rise, after that last game, it's got to be banned out. That makes sense. That was a good ban. So a lot of targeted bans at top lane, 3 top laners down, and that really limits the top laner pool that is played, at least now in this current meta.
Yeah. And we see the first pick, Leona. We've seen Leona, I think, almost every single game.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Leonas.
I think there was one game where we saw an Alistair Thresh, but I think every other game we've seen the Leona. And Leona's just been extremely strong.
Yeah, she's just a solid, safe pick with a lot of CC.
Yeah.
She's good on any team.
A lot of wombos going in, and she just fits that comp perfectly.
Thresh coming in once again. Lanterns, I mean, it's self-explanatory as to why Thresh is good. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Caitlyn. If you're going to first pick, or like second pick, pretty much, an ADC, you want to know that it's a safe ADC. And Caitlyn and Lucian are 2 of the safest, and with Lucian being gone, it doesn't surprise me that he's going to go with Kate here.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the AD carry that's picked up on blue team. Sivir's still open. She's extremely strong. We might see kind of an off-the-wall one where we saw that Tristana, maybe an Ezreal or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see Tristana picked into a Caitlyn, but I think a Sivir or Jinx might suit them a little bit better.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, well, I guess we'll just wait and see what they pick. So the bot lane covered by purple team already. It's going to be interesting to see what we pick. We don't have any mid laners yet. That matchup's been pretty intriguing most games. Nidalee's banned out, so we definitely won't see her in the mid lane.
Yeah. Orianna's had a bit of a resurgence, but we don't have our main Orianna here. They didn't quite make it through. But Ziggs, another safe pick. If you're going to blindly pick in a mid lane, he's one of those that you could pull that off with pretty easily.
Yeah, he's a pretty safe mid lane. He has pretty much everything in his kit, and he matches up well with a lot of people, brings a lot of damage, brings a lot of objective control. But we actually see a last-second switch to Orianna. Also another safe mid lane pick.
Very similar to Ziggs, just doesn't have the satchel. That's the big difference there.
Insta-lock Warwick. That's going to be pretty interesting. So obviously he's going to be going for Feral Flare. So what you'd want to see out of purple team is them to pick strong, very strong lanes, just so Warwick can farm and not have to pressure.
And that's what it looks like they're doing. They have
Exactly.
the Caitlyn Thresh, very strong bot lane. Renekton can almost always win his lane. And so I'm curious to see who they pick mid. Probably, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just take Ziggs here, honestly, and just farm with Orianna.
Yeah. Not necessarily. Yeah, just pick like a safe mid laner. He might not outright win the mid lane against Orianna, but at least he'll go even. It's a safe lane. It gives Warwick time to just farm up his Feral Flare. And kind of the gimmick with him is at 6, when he has his Feral Flare, I think every single swipe of his ultimate puts a stack of Feral Flare on it.
There's 5 swipes, and
it hurts.
It does a lot of damage if you have stacks on it. Lots and lots of damage, and
they're really
we have
taking their
TP on Shyvana, but no TP on Renekton. That's pretty standard because Renekton's all about winning lane.
Yeah.
If you take the TP, you lose that pressure.
Yeah. And it looks like they're just kind of waiting on that mid laner there. And the last one, I think the last time Ahri was picked by Draco's team, the last time we saw them. And it looks like this is pretty dangerous right here. A Katarina. This is against an Orianna?
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, she can dodge the ball pretty easily when she gets pointed at her E, but
the auto attacks alone.
Oh yeah, the auto attacks are gonna zone her off minions unless.
Yeah.
I mean, she has to start Doran's shield, I think, to mitigate some of that damage, but in team fights, there's just so much CC. Zin knock up, knock back. Leona
stun,
has
Shockwave,
2 ways to stop it.
Dragon.
Orianna can. We can knock her back with the ulti from Tristana, Dragon.
And the Dragon form.
So every character on blue team has an answer to the Katarina ult. So
and Katarina too. I think she would fall a lot out of favor, especially in the current meta with how popular heal is right now. They do have an exhaust too, and they also have like Orianna shields too. So her to pick up and try and get resets, it's going to be almost impossible.
yeah, I think blue team did really well in champ select here, and I think they have the advantage team comp.
Purple team did all the way up. I mean, they did really well up until that Katarina pick. I mean, if it pays off when she can get snowballed, Katarina snowballed is extremely scary, but it's just the odds are stacked against her for sure in this one. Any good team that can just stall out the game is going to be able to pick off that Katarina no problem and make sure she doesn't get any resets.
Yeah,
she's going to have low farm, low kills. Even if they try and do like lane swaps or something like that, her against the Shyvana is not even favorable at all.
Yeah, and there's not even that much peel for Caitlyn. They have the Thresh who can do an okay job. Warwick can ult one person, and Renekton can stun one person, but that's all they have when blue team has so much diving potential, and it's going to be really hard for them to save Caitlyn. And if they lose Caitlyn in a fight, they lose a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much most of their damage too. Unless Kat can pull off some miracle and pull... I mean, she does a lot of damage. Her ultimate is just crazy amounts of damage. Even with a little bit of AP, the ratio is just absolutely bonkers on it. But it'll be pretty interesting to see. In terms of lane matchups, we've seen Renekton and Shyvana like 500,000 times in the last few months.
It's a classic.
And then we see the Tristana again. You said you don't really particularly care for the Tristana pick into a Caitlyn. But with the dive potential at 2 or 3, with Tristana with 1 point in E and 1 point in W, they might be able to turn something if they get an early gank or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be a rough lane for Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, if Zin ganks with the Leona lockdown, I mean, that is about probably 3 seconds of CC that you can keep someone locked up for with 3 people autoing, and that's going to do a lot of damage. And if Caitlyn doesn't have net or gets knocked up out of her net or stunned out of her net, then that could cause a lot of problems for them early.
Yeah. So it looks like about another little over a minute before we get past this delay for spectator, and then we'll get into game. Yeah, so this is the first game of a best of 3. Just in terms of champ select, if you had to pick someone, which team were you picking? You said
blue.
Blue. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to go blue as well. Blue 2 as well.
Blue 2.
Just even with the Tristana Gambit in the bot lane, just every other lane just seems extremely strong right now. Just so well synergized. 3 different methods of ball delivery system with Orianna. Mm-hmm. So much dive potential. It's going to be a tough game for Kat and Caitlyn. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, everyone on blue team has some kind of mobility, including Leona, because you can just do the Zenith Blade on top of them. And the only mobility, two people don't have mobility really. Thresh, I mean, he can do the hook and work with this ulti, but mobility wins games in this meta, and I think blue team has the advantage on top of that, on top of everything else that they have the advantage on, like matchups. Mid is just going to be very rough for Katarina, I would imagine.
Yeah. I would sense that there's going to be a lot of early jungle pressure, maybe for Katarina, but with Warwick, I don't know. I really don't know. I even think blue team has the advantage for early pressure in mid lane.
Yeah,
Zin early ganks are just crazy.
Yeah, Zin early ganks are gonna. If Warwick ganks early, which I don't expect him to do, then a Zin counter gank is gonna win the 2v2, no matter what lane it is, which is not the situation you want to be in, ever. Right. Not as a jungler. If you know the counter gank is gonna ruin you, it makes you play so passively.
Alright, so we're in the loading screen right here. This will be pretty interesting to see what happens. So this will be pretty crazy. Hopefully we see some crazy level 1 strats again. Hopefully it's not a Teemo running into 4 members and instantly dying. Hopefully we don't see that.
I don't know, I'd like to see a Teemo die every once in a while. Keeps things interesting.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest factors in this game is going to be the exhaust.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well. It just stops so much damage. If they don't have CC for Katarina, the exhaust is just going to save them.
Yeah, that and the exhaust alone is enough CC. They don't even really have to waste stuns or anything like that. They could save that for higher priority targets. Just the exhaust alone is going to make her hit like a kitten. I mean, she's not going to do anything at all.
Instead of a cat?
Yes, instead of a full cat, it's just going to be a kitten. So this will be pretty interesting.
Looks like CLG's doing pretty well against TSM here.
Yeah, so we also have that pulled over. Cam's constantly looking over, seeing what's going on. So the LCS is going on today. Semifinals are going on right now. TSM and CLG are going on. It's classic rivalry. And CLG's taking it to him in the first game, it looks like.
Looks like Dyrus is feeding it again.
Yeah.
Poor Dyrus.
All right. We're in game. We have our own best of 3 going on right now. So let's see what happens. All right. So
a lot of ward starts for both teams.
Yeah.
They're really looking to get that early vision to start out the game well. Yeah. Warwick doesn't need a lot of health potions because his passive gives him health on auto attack and his Q steals health, so it's going to be really good for him. And it'll let him ensure that he doesn't get invaded. Zin's really strong early, so these wards are going to make sure that Zin doesn't get off to a snowbally start, because if Zin can pick up a kill or two by 3, 4, 5 minutes, he becomes exponentially harder to deal with.
Oh yeah, he snowballs. I feel like every jungler we talk about, we're like, oh, they're like the hardest snowballing one. Zin, I think he's easily top 2, top 3 snowballing junglers.
Yeah, definitely. And it's because when he snowballs, it's not snowballing for late game. It's snowballing right now, and it's an instant problem.
Good spot there by Orianna, throwing her ball in that bush right there from a safe distance, and she did see 3 of them. So the early red invade, they're probably not going to see. They do have this bush covered as well. And we see Renekton going back, and he's just going to go ahead and head for top lane. They did ward their own red here. And it looks like Warwick's going to start out blue.
Minions have spawned.
And we're about to get underway here. Leona, I think the last time we saw her, she started the talisman, or the
coin.
The coin, rather. And now she's starting with whatever this is called, Relic Shield.
Did we watch 3 games? No.
We watched 3 Leona games.
Yeah.
This is our third.
Yeah, I think he got coin last time, and this time it's switching it up.
Yeah.
But the first game we watched had a Relic Shield Leona.
Yeah, it was Relic Shield Leona with the Tristana, because their early game was extremely low. But it looks like they're going to try and supplement with the Relic Shield instead and try and get a little more presence in lane. I don't know how much it's actually going to do, but I guess we'll see. If they maybe try to go for an earlier burst combo too, this could potentially tell Caitlyn and Thresh that they're going to go for an early dive or something like that, just with once they hit the level 2. But it looks like they're going to try and stop that and try and get the level. They're immediately pushing this wave pretty hard just to try and get the edge in lane there. Zin started as red, Warwick started as blue, so they're going to meet somewhere maybe in the top lane, maybe in the mid lane, but we both know that they're not going to be in the bot lane for any early ganks.
Yeah, and I think against the Caitlyn lane and bot, she's going to have a lot of range advantage. And so that Relic Shield giving them the health when using the charges is going to be extremely useful in mitigating some of that range advantage and poke that Caitlyn's able to put down.
Yeah, we see Renekton throwing a lot of early damage on Shyvana. This is just a really tough lane for Shyvana at the very start. Renekton is just so powerful. But Shyvana does scale a little bit later. A little bit better too as the game goes on. As long as she's going to lose some CS in the start. There's no question about that. But as long as she can hold even, maybe around level 6 or 7 from there on, she should be able to still have an impact later in the game. We do see a ping coming down over here. Warwick might try and make his way over here. We see Orianna taking a lot of damage, but she also is putting a lot of harass on Cat. 13-4 in CS already. It's just almost impossible for Cat to get anywhere near minions because Orianna can just auto attack, throw a ball. It's so difficult. She's going to have to farm with her Q, and at early levels, Katarina's Q just doesn't do that much damage.
Yeah, Oriana's going to get huge if she keeps getting free farm like this, and I expect Warwick to rush level 6 and try and gank her.
See a gank coming in. Renekton uses the slice.
He went the wrong way with the slice, and I think he may die for it.
I don't think he has the dice either. I don't think he hit anything.
He doesn't.
He does have to use the flash. Zen flashes, gets the knockup, but Shyvana's a little bit too far behind. The red buff's trying to slow him down a little bit. Shyvana speeds up with her.
He's got the dash. Oh, wow, he leaves him be.
I think the Twin Bite might have been able to finish it off.
That's a big minion wave, though. They were going to take a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, I think better safe than sorry. It's still early on in the game. You don't want to throw too hard.
Oh, he's going to wait it out.
They see the gank top. He throws the ward right there. Maybe just trying to get a timer, but I think that ward's just going to maybe trying to get some early vision, but he's going to go ahead and steal the big monster here. Like we saw in the last game, anytime Xin goes to gank, we see the other enemy jungler just immediately going in and counter jungling.
That's what you want to do as a jungler. If you look at the map and you don't see a gank and you can't get there to counter gank, just
see a
go
lot
invade.
going down the bottom lane here. Leona looks like she went in. Her shield popped right there. Oh, eating a lot of damage with the Peacemaker.
If she can use the Targon stacks, that'll really be great. So you can see there, they just got 80 health each. That's a really good trade. Although Caitlyn's just going to be able to stand back up. They did get the heal out, and they still have both their summoners.
Yeah. Very smart not to use the exhaust there because it was just too close of a trade. And it looks like Caitlyn gets the level 4 before they go ahead and EQ. They get the stun onto Thresh. They're trying to do damage. They're not focusing the same target. Leona takes quite a bit of damage, and then Tristana's
They went
hit.
right into a minion wave there, and they just took so much free damage. They have to back now. Oh, looks like they're going to stay. It's a little risky.
And we see still relatively even just in terms of damage, but oh my gosh, already over 3 times the CS of Katarina. At 5 minutes in and only 11 CS, this is just not going to be a good game for Katarina. I don't see how she's going to be able to turn this around on her own. Yeah. There's just no way.
I mean, there's a CS gap building in bot lane for Caitlyn, but it's not quite as large as the gap that we have right now.
Oh no.
And if Caitlyn dies to a Xin gank, that would cause serious problems for them down in bot lane because then they have the advantage in mid and bot.
He does put the ward there, but his team has to go back, so it's not going to be a tower dive of any sorts there.
Yeah.
He might be trying to roam mid. He does see Cat's a little bit low. It's not warded here, and it looks like Oriana's trying to bait her out. He might get the dash in, but they do see it. She just immediately backs away. A lot of times, too, you'll see a Cat put a ward right in front of her own turret. That way, when a gank comes, she always has something that she can shun Po to avoid a gank. But it doesn't look like that's the case here, but that's one of the many little neat tips and tricks you can do when you play Katarina or something like that. Shyvana putting quite a bit of damage on Renekton there, and I think she got ahead in that trade there for sure, but Renekton pops the health pot.
It's because she has the chain vest compared to the cloth armor, so really not a lot of defense on Renekton yet.
And she's ahead in farm too, which is very surprising.
That gank from Zen really let her free farm, and I'm not sure if Renekton went back right then or what, but he didn't have an advantage in lane after that, and he's kind of, I think, going on tilt a little bit after that gank. A little scared of Zen's out coming back.
And it looks like Zen is going to make his way up here. That
He's
ward,
got a ward. You should see it coming.
He should be okay.
And Shyvana's pushing.
And they do see him, and he's going to go ahead and make his way back. Zen's immediately maybe going to go for some golem steals. But he's just sitting in the bush. This isn't warded. So Renekton just needs to play safe. And it looks like the blue wave will push into his turret, so there's really no reason for him to go out to the lane at all. And it looks like Zen's just going to go ahead and back off, get a double golem steal, and then the mid laners return as well.
Double amp tome for Katarina. It looks like she's maybe going for the spell vamp build. I don't think that'll help her much if she does decide to go for that.
Yeah, she needs a lot of early damage. The only way that a Katarina can come back in lane is if she makes her presence known. And if you're just playing the passive, try not to die, you're not playing Katarina to her full potential.
Exactly.
And she does go ahead and get a
little bit of
QE
poke
in there.
I mean, she does solid damage at this early point in the game. But Oriana does have a shield, so it's really going to be hard to kill her.
And
she's got
look
the heal.
at this.
This is Warwick right here. Really good at soloing the dragons.
8-minute dragon.
Gives him his team gold advantage now after that one. And doesn't pull anyone out of lane, so they don't miss any farm or anything. So that's one of the really big benefits of that Warwick jungle.
Looks like Leona went in. Tristana trying to do some damage, but the Thresh Shield's going to stop anything. Warwick coming in. He's extremely low. Zen is recalling. They missed the distance, and they forced the late flash right there. A little bit of a delayed reaction, but I guess they get the ultimate
it
on
plays
Leona.
him
She's
away.
dead. Thresh picks up the kill, gets first blood. Tristana's still taking a lot of damage, eats 3 auto attacks. Ooh, and almost gets the net 2 to the face.
Yeah, Thresh actually threw the Lantern in lane to protect his ADC instead of throwing it back to Warwick. I think it would have been a little easier to just bring Warwick in, but
And
they still got the kill on Leona because she overstepped.
And just like that,
Yeah, Caitlyn's getting pretty big. 70 CS now, compared to 43. Almost as big as the deficit that we have in mid lane, but also a kill picked up. Well, an assist, I guess, for Caitlyn. And honestly, I think Caitlyn and Orianna both are going to be a scary late game as the other one.
good stun under turret.
Caitlyn, it's really hard to take her
we
down.
see-
Which
We see Xin doing a lot of invade. Does he have a red buff? Yes, he does have double buffs. He's really slowing the Warwick. Warwick doesn't have his ultimate. Katarina's going to come in. She's going to ball, but the shockwave stops it. They're going to get a double kill. Xin goes in. Does he want to take the tower? No, he's going to decide to go out. Shyvana comes from the backside, and Renekton looks to flank as well, but... Oh no! No, nobody flashes the flash, but a double flash, and then he pops his ultimate. One more Q, he's gonna have it. Zin's still alive. Okay, he does die from Ignite. It looks like Orianna and Shyvana are gonna be able to pick this up. Maybe he's still the flash from Orianna trying to body block him or something, but then picks up the kill with an auto attack right there. And
what a fight in the jungle there. Good invade by Xin, messing with Warwick. He already had his double buff, so there's no way that Warwick's going to win that trade. And you saw Xin popped his ult really early in that fight, and that gives him extra armor and MR, so Warwick couldn't win the duel without his ulti. And
I think
his team collapsed better as well.
The biggest takeaway from that fight is Xin now has his Wriggles. Warwick still has some items for it, but he doesn't actually have it yet. So this is going to be a huge window where Xin builds an enormous lead with his Wriggles, with his Feral Flare stacking.
He also gets additional gold from the Wriggles, and that's probably going to be the biggest thing, because Warwick will still build stacks with the Madreds, just not quite as quickly and won't heal as much. Yes, this is the final. It's best of 3 is the first game. And CLG just won, for those of you who are wondering.
Shyvana, 30 CS up on a Renekton at 11 minutes in. That's not something you want to see.
Yeah,
so Renekton and Katarina both Katarina 30 CS at 11 minutes in. Still 3 times as much CS for Orianna. Warwick coming in right here. She's solo. She shumpos to a minion out there. Warwick coming in from the backside. Warwick does have his ult if they do want to go in it. She could ult. Oh, I thought she would have picked up the kill. Zin's going to be able to dash in for that. No problem. Picks up. Oh, the Shunpo to the minion right there.
Nice play.
And then a good knockback into the wall. Stops her in her tracks. And then with one auto attack, he picks up the kill. And I think he already had double buffs. And they do see
the
the
he got double buffs from Katarina.
And they do see... I think they might have spotted Renekton coming down from... Renekton... Oh, maybe they don't, because he shouldn't have gone in for that. But he's going to go ahead and farm out this minion wave. Shyvana just free farming up here. Renekton trying to get back into the lane by roaming and picking up another kill, but really he loses almost an entire minion wave.
Yeah, he's almost getting doubled in CS, and
we see something happen in the bot lane right here. Thresh and Caitlyn both at full health. Leona and Tristana.
Caitlyn's got a BF, and no, she doesn't have boots, but she has a BF over Tristana, which means she's going to get a much earlier Bloodthirster, and once she stacks that up, she gets the full item value of about 1,000 extra golds worth on that Bloodthirster, so I expect her to get that as soon as she shoves out this wave.
Yeah, and the first turret going to purple team here puts them in the gold lead right now, but still, it's kind of a false positive right now because Katarina and Renekton are just getting tore up right now. Oh my gosh, this Renekton. The dragon form's already been used, but even if she just forces him back, that's still a win. She doesn't necessarily have to kill him.
There, and with Shyvana with red buff is going to be able to duel Renekton all day, and she still has TP. And with the dragon coming up in a minute and 10 seconds, she can just continue to shove top, proxy top wave, and then teleport in for the dragon. And there's nothing Renekton's going to be able to do. He could roam down for the dragon, but then he gives up top, and Shyvana can still teleport in.
Wow. Orianna throwing out a lot of damage. Orianna, just her farm right now compared to Katarina is just catastrophic. It's over 1,000 gold lead in the mid lane, and they both still have 1 kill and 1 death apiece.
Yeah, the spell vamp on Katarina is not going to help here.
No.
I think Haunting Guys would have been better.
And we see Warwick coming in. Warwick is going to have his ult. Good suppress right there. She eats the full ultimate. We see a teleport coming in. Good shockwave.
Just not enough damage.
And Orianna goes away. Shyvana's going to come in. Can she shunboat to a back minion wave or something like that? We also see Xin coming in. Nothing can happen right here. The shockwave was used a little bit early just to save her life, which completely worth it. And they're going to try and force this tower.
Yeah, they should be able to get it. And, I mean, they were so close to killing him there, but there's just no damage coming out from Katarina with the spell vamp, and it helps it doesn't help at all in that situation. Had that been 100 guys, that would have been a kill.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna see some action right here. Renekton needs to get out of here. There's no way he can trade against that Shyvana right now. She is just too beefy. And Caitlyn still pretty much dominating this bot lane right here, but just her team is it's kind of a tale of two cities right now.
Yeah. And another dragon picked up because of Warwick. This is the second one.
This is going to help a little bit.
It's keeping them in the game. Yeah, it's definitely keeping them in the game, making up for mid and top losing lane. But unless Katarina starts building the right items, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And farming, of course.
Yeah, she's doing her best trying to catch up here a little bit, but that Orianna is just so... She's just light years ahead. Shyvana's going to pick up another tower. They're going to have 2 towers here. And that's should swing the gold back into blue team's favor right here, just by a little bit. And Renekton heading up top. Renekton looking for more roaming opportunities, just trying to get back into the game. But I think he just needs to park himself in lane. And even this far behind, I feel like Renekton should still be... Maybe Shyvana's too far ahead at this point, but he should at least be able to trade even.
Shyvana's too far ahead. If you look, it's a level 11 to level 9. That means 2 ranks in Dragon Form and her passive is upgraded to the 2nd level, so you get even more free armor and MR. There's just no way that Renekton can duel Shyvana, and she can back probably for a Sunfire Cape at any time she wants.
Yeah, she's sitting on 1,600 right now. Tristana sitting on 1,500. We see a lot going down in the bottom lane. I think they landed a hook, and is the Peacemaker... Warwick uses his suppress! And they're going to pick up the really easy kill on Tristana. They're going to try and go in for Leona. Warwick taking tower shots. He needs to get out of there. Good Leona ultimate, but he did sidestep it. Shockwave hits both, does a ton of damage. Oh, great distance! Great flash as well. She's going to be able to get out of there, no problem.
Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness. Gonna have a heart attack over here. So, nice roam from Orianna. And while that all happens, Katarina dies in mid.
Oh my gosh. Probably two.
Xin, and then Renekton cleans up. And it looks like Renekton, with the red buff, is able to trade with Shyvana, who has no ulti. Red buff really is going to help here, and she still sneaks out, though.
He's going to let her walk away.
Orianna roamed back in time.
And he just needs to head top after this wave. Caitlyn trying to pick up some extra farm as well. The gold lead's still relatively even here, although just the gold is spread out just so differently for both teams right now. So it'll be interesting. Warwick probably has a lot of gold. Caitlyn obviously does. Caitlyn already has her Bloodthirster. And we see a flank coming in. Leona could go in if she wanted to dive this. Oh, the flay was used a little bit too early.
Yeah, that was good timing from Leona. Waiting for the flay and then going in. No escape for Thresh there. And they tried to siege the mid lane, but Orianna's wave clear is just too good. One of the reasons she's become top tier mid laner again, because assassins have been kind of shut down with the exhaust changes. And
Xin going in, shockwave used, Caitlyn immediately going down, and that's really their only damage.
Yeah, without Caitlyn, they should be free to just shove mid.
They might try for... They can't... There's no way they can... Renekton, is he going to go in? He's going to be like, I got this. Oh, they dive in on Cat. Cat jumps in, uses roll, gets busted shot away. Great use of that. Solar Flare goes in, doesn't really hit anyone. Orianna still being targeted by Renekton. Cat jumps in, they pick up. Katarina gets the reset. She should be able to use her skills, but she's getting focused right now. She goes down. So many people low. Zin's really low. Renekton picks up a double right there, and he's still alive! Leona flashes over. They should be able to chase this Warwick with his W pass. If he gets a lot more movement speed, they should be able to pick this up. No problem. Shyvana's out and nowhere. And Renekton's going to be able to pick that up for a triple kill. And just like that, Renekton's back in the game. He picks up, I think, 3 or 4 kills right there.
Yeah, 4 for just the Katarina. Well, I guess they did get Caitlyn before that, as well as Thresh. So in the end, it's kind of like a 3 for 4. But they also got the mid tower. So a lot going on. A lot of action, honestly. And that was a good fight. They were able to focus on Orianna, because if you don't kill Orianna, with the 20% CDR, she's just going to be spamming shields on your team. And so you need to try and get her out of there.
Shyvana, he misses the distance, and he uses the flay, so now Shyvana should be able to get out of this no problem with her Dragon Form if she really wanted to. Or, yeah, she goes ahead and Dragon Forms out. Warwick didn't have the suppress up, so they couldn't really necessarily stop her. But they do force that out on her, which is a pretty crucial cooldown for her.
Right now, this game is neck and neck. Thresh is looking to make his way towards the talisman. I think he needs to get that item as soon as possible, because if they're trying to all in on blue team, you need to escape. And also, it helps you get in range for a nice hook as well. So I expect him to go for that next. I don't know why he's getting... He might be going for a locket
Leona's
with the...
looking to flank. They do put a ward down there.
Gem.
Warwick's nowhere to be found right now. He's trying to maybe get the blue buff over here. He's still trying to farm that Feral Flare. Still less than 20 minutes in the game, so he doesn't necessarily have the stacks for it that he probably wants at this point. He's sitting at 23, so he almost has enough for the actual Feral Flare. Zin, on the other hand, sitting at 21, so they're both relatively close. They're about to hit both a really big power spike, and then the team fights from here on out are really going to decide which jungler snowballs harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm surprised that you only get kills and assists once you get the flare. Kind of changes how you play.
And
like, there's no reason to force team fights until you get the flare, and then you get an even bigger bonus, and you become even more snowbally with the flare. So
they're trying to pick someone out. They do get somebody
nice
great ultimate.
penalty.
Oh, they get the suppress on him. Solar Flare goes in and Shockwave. A great wombo. Katarina comes in. You hear knives and shit going off like crazy. Zin's going to get picked off by Caitlyn. Caitlyn in the back just doing as much damage as she can, but there's just not a lot of damage from the other people. She's getting dove on by Shyvana. No one to peel for her. Tristana goes ahead and rockets in. They're going to be able to get a kill on maybe Leona right there. They're going to pick off Orianna. Why did they stop chasing Caitlyn? That's
because their team was losing. So 4 for 2 though, they still won the fight. Everyone grouped up for the Orianna ulti, and then
the Solar Flare
pulling them all into the Solar Flare.
Yeah,
exactly. And then the dragon on top. Zin did a really nice job of baiting them in there. They got lulled into a false sense of security, and they got punished for it.
Tristana going in. She
probably
thinks that
win
she
this
flashes. What does Caitlyn have? She doesn't have heal or anything. She does have red buff compared to Tristana's blue buff, and she has the zeal advantage over Tristana.
She wants to snipe Ori, but no ult available. It'd have to be the Peacemaker. Gonna just back off.
Yeah.
Off on that one. That's the first dragon for blue team, though. Pretty much a poorly timed fight. They went all in just too soon on Zin, got baited in, didn't expect.
And that's not the target you want to go all in on either on Zin.
No, he did just popped his ultimate, so he had the extra
all the
armor
resistances,
and MR.
And he already has the Randuin's too. It's not like he went and bought more damaging items. He just Feral Flare immediately Randuin's too. I mean, they're just trying to look for a pick, but I think they probably just forced it, I think. And, I mean, you want to get on Orianna or Tristana more than anyone right now. Especially Orianna. She has the most farm in the game right now. That's definitely the person you want to pick off. Katarina looking to come in and flank too. She is going to get spotted by this ward right here. Oh, maybe not. She wasn't actually spotted.
She'll be spotted this time.
There she goes. Alright, so she is spotted. We see a little bit of stuff going on in the mid lane right here. Renekton maybe looking for a pick. But Renekton getting himself back in the game. He's actually about even in gold with Shyvana again, even though she won that lane pretty hard. But with the 6 kills on him,
yeah, that'll do it.
But he has to be their playmaker from here because he's the one with all the gold and all the health. And Warwick can try and make a play with his ultimate. They're going to maybe look for a pick on Zin again, but after the last fight, I hope they don't do that again.
He does have the flare now. Warwick does. Zin's not quite there. I'm sure he's almost there. Probably 23 stacks or so, but
Zin going in, looking for a pick.
He's so tanky with that ball,
and the Solar Flare completely whiffs on everyone. Orianna looking to use her ultimate somewhere, but they're just focusing Warwick and Renekton right there. They get the suppress on Orianna. Dragon Form goes in to stop that, and they pick up the kill on Warwick. Thresh goes down. Orianna, Shockwave is down. Cad goes in, but she's not going to be able to get any kills or anything like that. It was a good try. She just doesn't have the items or the damage for it right now.
Blue team just had the better positioning on that fight. Warwick was trying to get onto Tristana. Katarina never got in until it was too late. And there's just not enough damage to get through all the Orianna shields in the front line that blue team has. And Tristana's still alive, no problem. And that's going to be an inhib, and it's going to be really hard for purple team to get out of their base after this point. Because of the catch potential available for blue team, they should be able to just take Baron or rotate bot, but it looks like Triss is going on a solo mission for that one.
Yeah. And it looks like maybe she just wants to clear this wave, maybe counter jungle a little bit, set that Warwick even further behind. But yeah, blue team definitely showing their power in team fights right now. Zin pretty much forced his way. It was kind of a reverse where Renekton forced his way to try and get a pick in the team fight before. Zin kind of forced himself in here, and it actually turned out okay. Even with a solar flare whiff, they were still able, and no shockwave, they were still able to win that team fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just shows you the amount of late game scaling that their team has. I mean, when you have the Tristana, the Orianna, and the Shyvana, it's a lot of A's, by the way. You just have the late game scaling team, and you can just count on surviving early and then just winning fights just off that. And you have Leona, just another A in there for fun. Where you can just, it's just so much CC to make everyone else so much stronger because there's no, they can't reply when you just lock them down and instantly kill them.
Yeah, and also great, another thing to say about that last team fight, as soon as Orianna got suppressed by Warwick, Shyvana used her ultimate and knocked him out of it. So that saved blue
I think
team.
Tristana might have ulted as well with the Buster shot. I'm not entirely sure.
I mean,
but
it was
he went
just
flying back.
great reaction by blue team to make sure that that suppress didn't hit every single stack. Zin going in. Good pickup right there. They're trying to flank out Katarina there. I think the shockwave was used right on Zin. Nothing to stop it on Tristana. She's going to be able to rocket jump out of the way. Shyvana coming in from the side. They pick up the kill on Warwick.
No.
They're going to go in on Caitlyn. Oh no, that's all their damage. What are they going to do now? Katarina's just running around. She's exhausted, and then she goes in. Solar Flare goes in and stops her, and Buster Shot. This is going to be game right here.
This is what I was talking about. With that inhib down, there's no tower to run back to, and if you get caught out mid, you get caught.
And the surrender right there.
Wow. What a game. Well played, blue team.